Can you believe it? After a run of 10 long years, it's finally time that this operating system has been laid to rest. As it's one of the most debated operating systems in the history of Microsoft, whether you love it or not, it's undoubtable that this operating system made a huge impact on who you are, whether at work, at school, or at home. Hello everybody, and welcome back to another video. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about saying goodbye to Windows 10. Born in 2015 and unfortunately laid to rest in 2025. This operating system, I'm sure, has made such a significant impact on who you are, even if you love it or even if you hate it. And we're also going to talk about what people are going to be doing and what personally I'm going to be doing, because if you don't know, I run Windows 10 on this machine, a Dell Optiplex 390. Although it is based off the gray Dell tower of yesteryear that I'm sure many of us have seen in our offices, workplaces, or schools, it's a pretty good machine for mainly what I use it for. As a result, let's run through the specs. So this very nice machine has 8GB of DDR3 RAM, an Intel Core i3-2100 CPU, 2 cores, 4 threads, at, I believe, 3.1 GHz, and an Asus NVIDIA GeForce GT 430 graphics card. Yeah, I know it's awful specs, but it's okay for what I just use this machine for. Watching YouTube, working on homework, working on my eBay store. It's very basic, and that's what I just use it for primarily. I'm sure many of us also have seen similar machines. But don't worry, I am going to be keeping this machine around, but we're going to discuss that later. Now, enough talk about exactly what our system is. Let's talk about how Windows 10 even came to be. So as a result, we're going to keep this brief and go through a quick little history, even though I could do a whole documentary about this. I would like to start with this quote. Microsoft was founded with a vision of a computer on every desk and in every home. We've never wavered from that vision. Little did we know, that quote eventually would literally become the basis of why Windows 10 even was created. Windows 10's origins go all the way back to 2011 at a Microsoft development conference when they were announcing that they were developing an all-new Windows platform where a version of the Windows NT operating system would be created for every single Xbox, Windows Phone, and desktop computer. And the desktop computers varied from tablets all the way to full desktops. Because in the past, this is what the Windows operating system looked like. It was mainly desktop oriented, with more skeuomorphic elements such as in Windows 7 over here, Windows Phone 7, and the Xbox 360 UI. What would succeed this to make it more touch-centric for all the operating systems would be a new project codenamed Threshold, which took this and made it into this. Windows 8.1, Windows Phone 8, and the Xbox One UI were all based off the Windows NT 6 kernel, basically keeping the same design elements such as big tiles, general pictograms to represent icons, as well as keeping some skeuomorphic elements such as, well, the My Computer icon, as well as other elements like the volume control. Soon enough, this project eventually took off after succeeding for Windows Phone and the Xbox, and the desktop version of Windows needed to get the Threshold treatment. As such, it did. With the first betas coming out in early 2013 and 2014. And yeah, this looks exactly like Windows 8.1, with the heavy purple theming, wallpapers, live tiles. Just like most Windows betas, early betas of Windows 10 used mainly the same elements as the version it succeeded. It even had the start menu in some cases, as seen over here. Now, as 2014 continued, we eventually got the first beta of what would become Windows 10, codenamed Threshold 1. Borrowing elements from Windows 7 and what would eventually become Windows 10, this is what Threshold 1 became. As you can see, some elements from Windows 10 are here, such as the start screen being removed and replaced with the start menu, having more simplistic UIs even though it still keeps the Metro design language of Windows 7, keeping some skeuomorphic elements which would eventually be replaced. And just like most versions of Windows, Windows setup literally looked the exact same as the previous version of Windows, Windows 7, whose setup was based on Windows XP. Same thing with Windows Vista, but then XP's setup was based on Windows NT 4.0, and NT 4.0 setup was based on Windows 3, and vice versa. So, let's continue. This operating system, again, it was designed for new methods of computing, such as all-in-ones were rising, tablets, Windows phones. I'm sure many of us have seen similar designs from Dell and HP. I actually have one of those HP machines, and I did a video about restoring it to Windows 8.1 if you want to go check it out. Now, soon enough, the big day came for the release of Windows 10. But many would be asking, why wouldn't it be called Windows 9? Well, simply put, Microsoft didn't want it to be called Windows 9, so they decided to stick with the name Windows 10, as they felt like Windows 10 was going to be something big and new, similar to how the iPhone 10 was not called the iPhone 9, but instead the iPhone 10. Now, back to the story. Soon enough, July 2015 rolled around. After Beta 1 and Beta 2 of Windows 10 came out, soon it was time to reveal the final product of Windows 10. And here it is. Windows 10 in its full glory. As you can tell, this pretty much looked like most of the builds of Windows 10 up to 2020. We'll get to that later. Again, 2015 had one of the best desktop wallpapers out of all the versions of Windows yet. This wallpaper was known pretty well for many Windows users. It included a different start menu, less skeuomorphism, as well as a different search bar. Eventually, over the years from 2015 to 2020, got periodic updates such as changing wallpapers, changing Microsoft Edge from Edge Legacy to Edge Chromium, adding new applications such as Paint 3D, and eventually just making Windows 10 a lot better based on user feedback. Now, why am I speaking about 2020? Well, in 2020, Windows 10 got a drastic overhaul. And not only was it overhauled specifically, but many people were enjoying Windows 10 at the time. As you can see, there's a whole fleet of devices running it. Tablets, a laptop, yes, I know it's a MacBook, a phone, and even a desktop computer. So, once the Windows 10 2020 update hit people's computers, many were shocked, because it introduced a new wallpaper, light and dark theming, as well as just a general new UI. Some people liked it, some people hated it. However, 1 year later came with the announcement of Windows 11. Once Windows 11 was announced, some people liked it, some people didn't. But what absolutely then ruined people's perception of Windows 11 was when they began putting in AI, such as Microsoft Copilot, into 11. They did the same with Windows 10, on top of having the controversy of all the bloatware like Spotify in the start menu, as well as Dolby Audio, Adobe Photoshop Express, Candy Crush Soda Saga. People were not happy about that and about the AI. But people thought that either moving to an AI-infested operating system was bad or just sticking with a less AI-infested one was good. So they stuck with Windows 10, with many people choosing to daily drive it until it eventually met its utmost demise. October 15th, 2025. Microsoft began pushing their end of support message on Windows 10 computers. People were encouraged to upgrade to Windows 11 or buy new computers, and basically Microsoft just was pushing this upgrade harder and harder as the date looms. Now, with the Windows 10 history aside, let's talk about some alternatives that people suggested. Now, many people are asking different questions about what's going to happen to Windows 7, what to move to, what problems will this create? Well, I'm just going to boil this down pretty quickly. What alternatives are people choosing? Some people, firstly, are using Microsoft's Extended Security Updates program, where they have to enroll in a specific program offered by Microsoft to get extended security updates for 2 more years. Some people are even moving to Linux. My personal suggestion is Debian. It works on stuff as old as Pentium M's from the early 2000s, all the way up to modern machines, like my Dell Optiplex, or even my Asus Vivo PC. So personally, if you want to move to Linux, I recommend Debian. Some people are even moving to macOS with new Apple Silicon Macs. Some people are also dusting out their older MacBooks to test to see if macOS Tahoe will work on their with OpenCore Legacy Patcher. And I'm gonna have a whole video coming about that soon. But then, the ultimate question looms is, what's gonna happen to people's computers? Well, with Windows 10 ending, many people do not know how to use Rufus to hack the Windows 11 install on their older machines. So they're sending all their computers off to e-waste. Businesses, people's houses, many people are sending their computers off to e-waste just because of this. And I haven't even seen it in Stanford yet. Next time I go to the recycling center, I'm probably going to see a big influx of more computers because the end of Windows 10, with Windows 11 deeming some machines obsolete. However, it's quite easy to install Windows 11 on these machines, and I'm going to go through a whole video on that eventually. But ultimately, I'd say if you feel comfortable doing it, keep sticking with Windows 10. But if you want to feel more secure, switch to either Windows 11, Linux, or macOS. Or if you want to, you can even use Hackintosh. But now, you might be asking, what am I gonna do? Well, I'm gonna keep using my Windows 10 machine until I basically get parts to be able to fix up another machine that I'm working on for Windows 11 specifically to upgrade this. Now, with the video over, I'd like to end it there by dedicating it to basically Windows 10. It's been a wonderful operating system with a wonderful 10-year run. Thank you, Windows 7, for your service. Whoops, I meant Windows 10, my bad. And thank you so much for watching this video. Please like, watch, and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, y'all.